yes, but we talked about elasticity of demand.
But this week, we're here to talk about monopolies.
A firm is a monopoly if it's the sole seller of a product and if its product does not have any close substitutes. The fundamental cause of a monopoly is the barriers to entry. Barriers to entry is a monopoly that remains the only seller in its market because other firms cannot enter the market and compete with it.
An example of a good monopoly is water companies, because building new water dams can be expensive, so it's easier to let the monopolies control over the price. For an example, California is and has been in a drought since like forever ago, but it is also one of the largest states for agriculture. To grow crops, you need water, but California doesn't have any. Well, that's because we get it from elsewhere, and for too long it was from Colorado. Expensive in all aspects, but now we have turned to desalination plants, like the giant one that they're putting in my town, to take from the ocean to then use. An example of a bad monopoly is oil companies, because there's not a lot of them, so they control their own price, raise it or lower it. They also control area. A lot of foreign wars are a result for that in general. Oil isn't hard to find or hard necessarily to dig up, but because these companies are
But the true power of a monopoly comes from its ability to keep competitors out of the market. Take media. It is no lie that movies and television now control the casual conversations of most Americans, if not humans of the world. Not to mention hours and hours of our time. More and more people are now watching, streaming, and connecting through the media that is television. This platform is a hit.
Back in the beginning of movies, demand was high and barriers to entry were relatively low, so more and more competitors jumped in. Now producing companies are virtually everywhere, like 21st Century Fox, ABC, Pixar, etc. And that is exactly how capitalism is supposed to work. People want more movies, more media, more stuff to entertain themselves, what the product-seeking entrepreneurs gave them what they want. Incentive and competition made society better off.
But there is something that all these companies have in common. They are all owned by one company, the Walt Disney Company. There are competitors, sure, like DreamWorks or Sony Pictures. But when looking at profit and success, no other company comes close to measuring up to Disney.
Universal Studios thought they owned The Simpsons, but then Disney bought Fox, and Fox owns The Simpsons. So guess who owns them now? Disney has a monopoly on entertainment.
Companies don't have to have a literal monopoly to exercise monopoly power. When a single company has a huge market shares in its industry, like Disney does in the entertainment, they wield a lot of the same power that a pure monopoly would. So no, Walt Disney is not a legitimate monopoly, but it sure does act like one. The point is that one company doesn't need to have 100% market shares to operate like a monopoly.
But the last time you went to go see the new Star Wars movie, or bought tickets to see the latest of Marvel's wondrous creation, or even maybe you tune in tonight to watch the Jaguars take on the Titans at Tennessee at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you're benefiting the Walt Disney Company as much as you're trying to benefit your fantasy team.
Price discrimination happens more often than you think. Discounts based on your age are good examples. Like for students, like for college students, they get a discount compared to non-students. Because students get to pay $5, while non-students have to pay $10. Price discrimination also occurs in 3 conditions that they must undergo. One is that the firm must have control over the price. The second is that the market must be separated from other markets. And that the last one is the market must have differences in price elasticity of demand.
To wrap everything up, we have talked about monopolies and how they can be good or bad.
We have also talked about price discrimination and the conditions that it must undergo.
Universal
Seller of a product, and it just restart that again.
To wrap everything up, I don't remember. what we were talking about. At Tennessee at 20, well, farts
At 20?
at 8:20 p.m.